Hello NS player and welcome to It's Super Effective's Tactical Operations. Here we're going to dissect and analyze every aspect of natural selection 2 to make sure that you make Darwin proud.
Hey YouTubes, it's Super Effective here. Today we're going to shoot through some final tips that are in the unwritten rule category. The kind of stuff that you would have discovered over time, but here they are for you to fast track your way to success. Flashlights, when and when not. When a power node is under attack or damaged, you will notice a subtle dipping effect of the light's intensity. If the lights do get shut off, it will take about 15 seconds before the emergency lights slowly turn on. This will mean that you may have to use your flashlight. The default key is F, but there is some etiquette that you may not be aware of. You should only need to use your flashlight when you're looking in a very dark corner or in a room where the lights are completely off. There is no reason for you to have your flashlight on when you can see just fine without. What you may not be aware of is that the flashlight cone creates an undesirable haze effect for your fellow teammates. If you're in a group and you see someone else using a flashlight in a dark room, try to work off their flashlight while doing quick peeks in other directions. This becomes even more effective when working with a nearby exosuit because of their powerful floodlights. Recycling items. When your team purchases items at the Armory, that item is technically resources that will give your team an edge. It is everyone's responsibility to try and keep it working for your team for as long as possible. Otherwise, it will become lost resources, something the Marines often cannot afford to have.
Hobo, I got your shotgun
Okay,
here.
I'm just gonna make this decision.
I don't have enough res to drop anyone any.
Items dropped by a teammate will stay on the ground for a mere 30 seconds.
Sorry guys, I'm hurt too much.
Your base is under attack.
If you can safely get to it, try to pick it up by pressing the G key by default, and try to make the most of it.
There's a shotgun at Shuttle Bay if one of you wants to go pick it up.
Also, it is good etiquette to communicate the dropped item to your team, and hopefully, it can be returned to its rightful owner.
Cafe's getting bored.
There's a shotgun down there,
Good
Jeffrey.
job, good job.
Damn it. Can someone grab my shotgun for me?
Yeah, we got
I
it.
knocked your
I
shotgun,
want it
buddy.
back.
Come and get it.
Thank you.
If you already have the same item of your own, simply juggle it every 30 seconds, but try not to get caught up by doing this if you need to be doing something else.
He was gonna miss you.
Somebody's shotgun is still here at launch control. On the window.
That's me, but I'm dead and I can't spawn, so just take it.
Somebody else please pick it up then. There's still one here.
Doing this will be a shining example of your commitment to your team's strength, and will most likely lead to you earning a few friends. Fight near armories. If you find yourself near an armory and you're engaging enemies, fighting near an armory can help you survive by supplying you with health, armor, and ammo respectively at an interval of 0.8 seconds. This is especially useful when facing multiple enemies where you would have died a lot sooner without aid. It is very important to note that the armory can only resupply you when you're close to it and facing it. You do not need to use your use key to resupply. It can be tricky, but if you can sneak a peek at the armory while doing the dodging techniques you've learned up till now, you can survive much longer. The bottom line is this: it's not about managing to repel the attack, or if you go down valiantly, it's the fact that you stalled as long as possible by forcing them to try and attack you instead of something more important. For every second that passes, you buy a lot of time for reinforcements to arrive. Parasite countermeasures. The Skulk's Parasite ability will give them a strategic edge, but let's see what can be done to counter it. The quick and easy option is to try and get to an armory that will remove the parasite when you get resupplied. Keeping in mind that doing this every time can be seen as a stall tactic by the aliens. If you're too far to get to an armory, you may have to employ other tactics to use the parasite to your advantage. Let's say you got parasited. Try not to immediately look in the direction you got parasited from. Instead, if you have a good idea where it was shot from, try to lure the Skulk into chasing you. Depending on your weapon, select an area where you can quickly turn around and fight them. You will need to listen carefully for approaching footsteps. If you're with a teammate and either one of you get parasited, try to coordinate with them and set up an ambush. Have the parasited Marine retreat into a friendly's cone of fire. It also helps if the alien's path of attack faces away from the ambusher in order to be caught unawares. Prepping power nodes. Near the beginning of a game, preparing a power node is a very strong, one-time tactic that the Marines can employ. When a power node gets socketed for the first time and appears like a glowing blueprint, it can be built fairly quickly. Unlike other structure blueprints, the power node blueprint is invulnerable until its construction is completed. Just build it up to around 90%, and eventually when the commander deploys other structures, finish off the first building, then come back and finish off the power node. The reason for this is if you get killed or get called away, the progress on that power node will remain. However, if you do finish the power node, it will forever be vulnerable to attacks. Not only will the power be out once destroyed, but it will be 15 seconds before reconstruction can restart, it will rebuild slower, and the progress on partially rebuilt power nodes can be undone if aliens attack it. Alien Outposts. Taking the initiative. In the early game, there's an important reason why you shouldn't always attack cysts. You may have the opportunity to come across some cysts that lead up to a resource point. If you're lucky and the alien team has not yet spotted you, the alien commander might foolishly drop a harvester on the resource point. If this happens, destroy it as soon as possible because it will cripple the alien team's economy. In this case, shooting will make quick work of it. Well, what about a harvester that has full health or has been fully matured, you ask? First, ignore the cysts leading up to the harvester, and for the most efficient time to take the harvester down, you should attack the harvester with your axe. Uninterrupted, it can take about 27 seconds by yourself. Make sure to keep careful attention to incoming enemies and ideally have a teammate to cover you for maximum effect. You can then clean up the cysts for your team to capture. Whips are a different story. They have a limited range and can only operate while on an infestation. If you have time, destroy the cyst closest to the whip. Once the infestation has receded, the whip will en route and will be unable to attack. However, if you're in a hurry, it may be better to ignore it and try to get by safely. I should also note that all alien structures except for the whip, gorge structures, and hive will begin to take damage if they are not placed on infestation, and harvesters will still work if they are on disconnected cysts, but will not if they are not on infestation entirely. Alien bases, resource damage. Often you may stumble across a poorly defended alien hive. At this point you have an opportunity to make a decisive blow. You need to quickly decide what the objective is. Do you want to egglock them? Do you want to destroy some upgrades? Or do you want to try and get some reinforcements? But this largely depends on how many people you have with you at the time. While you might not likely take down a hive on your own, you can do what is called resource damage or res damage in some circles. All alien structures except for hive-spawned eggs have a resource cost, as well as any additional cost in passive upgrades. With limited time and or damage output, you need to try and do as much damage as possible with the inevitable probability that the alien team will respond and take you out. First things first, at the top of the priority list is the Shade. This cloaks all alien players and structures in the area. You need to have this visibility in order to proceed. You should ask the commander for a scanner sweep to help you find it. Otherwise, you can try moving around to try to bump into it. Refrain from shooting anything until you've found it. This will prevent any alerts from triggering, which might buy you some time. Once you've killed the Shade and the area is revealed, or if there was never one to begin with, you need to buy more time by killing off the shift, because it allows the alien commander to forcefully spawn additional eggs every few seconds, so make quick work of it. Once the shift is destroyed, or if there wasn't one, sweep out the area of eggs to achieve what is called an egg lock, which will prevent respawning alien players from popping up at your location during your sabotage attempt. Once the eggs are out of the way, you should kill the alien upgrade structures, which are the shells, spurs, and veils. Prioritize the structures that have already been upgraded, as this will cripple newly respawned players and do a fair amount of res damage. Attacking the hive itself will cause a lot of disturbance, so make sure not to hit it. Instead, try to take out any crags that might be nearby while calling for reinforcements. Attacking the hive with crags nearby will make taking down the hive a much longer task, as the crags can negate a lot of the damage you deal. So you should kill the crags before moving on to the hive to both deal res damage and cripple the hive's defenses. The only exception to the guidelines previously mentioned is if you just heard or saw the hive get placed. At this stage, the hive is at its weakest and can be destroyed by a single marine. The longer the hive has been building, or the more health it has, it will require the firepower of more marines to take it down in a timely manner. The wisest course of action when faced with this situation is to relay the information back to your team so that they can come to support you or come up with a plan.
They have a hive here. Come on, double time, get in here.
If your intention is to sabotage the hive, having at least one teammate with you will double your effectiveness. Typically, while one cripples the defenses, the other can kill off eggs and provide cover. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Tactical Operations. I hope it serves you well. Rate up the video and let me know in the comments below how your Marine game has gotten better. I find myself hanging out on a lot of servers, but mostly on the dmzgaming.com servers. They are set to rookie friendly, and they generally have some regulars on there who are patient and knowledgeable. So drop on by sometime. Big shoutouts to the super effective gamers out there, and to Ron Wild for hosting the dmzgaming.com servers.